Hey, it's Joy. Welcome back to the channel. Today I am bringing you a Matchbook Pop-Up Card, and I am featuring the Pajama Power stamp set, which was released last week. Of course, I am coloring them with Copics, but you could use whatever medium you find that you have, in your stash, right? So you could use Elos, you could use your Stampin' Up stuff, any of those things. But I did color on a live last week the little elephants, so I'm going to color in these other animals. So the reason I had chose a Matchbook Pop-Up Card was because I play along with Craft Roulette. I'm a huge fan. So the parameters this week were obviously a matchbook of some sort, national park colors, keys, and curves. So obviously I hit the matchbook with making a matchbook card. The national park colors I used were like the blues and the greens. And then the key to having a great week is wearing your pajamas or getting some sleep. So, and then if you saw from the front, like I don't rise, I caffeinate first, I think. I don't know, I screwed that up. I totally screwed that up. Anyway, but we have activated the Pajama Power, and then for the curves, I used the curvy couch that the little girl is sleeping on. So right now you're seeing me finish up this little bear that says born to lounge, but what does that say? I can't, and forced to work. So he's a little panda, and I colored in his eyes black, and for the white part of the panda, you only just have to use like a C1 and a C3 to give it some colors. And then to match the couch, I tried to get a little matchy-matchy. I used G24, 21, and 20, and those are the greens I used everywhere. And for the pinks, I used R22 and 21. For the girl, I am using my favorite Caucasian skin colors, which is an E04, E11, 21, and 00. And you're going to see me color that in. But you can make this as hard or as difficult as you wanted. So I want to talk about some of what makes this a matchbook card. So I have seen it where the strip is at the top, and I've seen it at the bottom. For me, when I look at a matchbook, the strip or the part that's like where the flap comes out, it's always at the bottom. So I made mine a little bit different than some of the ones that maybe you've seen before. I am including a PDF in my blog post, and I will link to that blog post in the description box below. I just haven't gotten that far yet, but I will make sure that we get that PDF so that you can make this card too. Obviously you can watch it, but you're going to want the measurements. So I did her cool PJs in like a teal color, and then using those same repetitive colors, the R22, 21, and 20 for her shirt. I did her book in the same color, and then I did the yellows the same as the computer, and that was a Y08, 4, 2, and a Y00. And we're going to get repetitive with this couch again, and it's G24, 21, and 20. So like I mentioned, the PDF will be linked in the description box below, but so will the products that I use. So I am using the Pajama Power stamp set and also the Spring Plaid papers. I'm also coloring on our marshmallow cardstock, which is a smooth cardstock. It's great for alcohol blending. Also, it's really good if you're into hot foiling. So here you're going to see me make the inside card base, and that one's white, and that measures 3.5 by 9 1/4, and it's scored at 5. The yellow one was 3 3/4 by 9 3/4, and you score that at 5 1/4. And you're seeing me reinforce my scores. Here you're seeing me put the little tab marks in, and you're going to do that at that's on the white inside card base. The slits, you're going to do that at 1.5 and then at 2, and then you're going to take a scissors and go at least 1/2 inch to 3/4 up. Of course, you could use your trimmer or you could use your ruler to do that, but I eyeball all the things. So while I was talking about the tab for the top, again, I chose to do that at the bottom. So my tab is 2.5 by 4.25. Let's get back to the card. You saw me use my thumb and poke that little square back in. So that's our pop-up mechanism. So we've got a long side and a short side of that. You want to make sure that you're lining up the short side with the short side, and you're going to make sure that your whole card is centered. So you're going to put glue on the back of that and then fold up the short side. And then I'm using my frog pet press just so that I can reinforce that glue and get it nice and smooth. And now I'm flipping the long side over, and I'm applying the Barely Art glue in the on the back as well. Once I get a good bead down, I then go ahead and smooth that out again with my frog pet press. We also have a cute little pig pet press, so you don't have to, if you're not married to a frog, you can have a pig. And then this is where I was talking about the piece that's going to be like where the flap tucks into, and that is with yellow, 2.5 by 4.25, scored by 1.25. I am then using the blue and yellow portion of the Spring Plaids, and I am cutting that down to 3.5 by, I believe, 4.25. You'll need to measure. It depends if you put that matchbox piece at the top or at the bottom. And here you're seeing me kind of measure it so I can figure out how I want my mechanism to lay out. So then from there, I went ahead and I'm messing with this thing, kind of trying to get this lined up straight. And you can use glue. I thought we'd be like a matchbox and we would use, or a matchbook, and we would use staples. And here you're seeing me kind of struggle getting this flap in there, and that's because I used very thick cardstock and glue. You might want to use tape runner instead so it's more pliable. I did stamp that little panda on the cardstock, and then I used a circle die from my stash and I popped him up onto a yellow circle. So I am incorporating our card challenge parameters for this month that Michelle Langley came up with, and you can find that on our Facebook page. It's Pajama Crafter Stamps and Friends, and you can have a chance to win if you make a card using our card sketch. So this is actually meeting our requirements for Pajama Crafter Stamps and Friends and for Craft Roulette. Here you're seeing me, I had showed you that you could use another like 1x4 strip where you could make a scene and you could attach it to that square. I just did the couch. So I wanted you to see that you can make mini scenes. And here I am just arranging the cute little animals just to make a cute scene. And of course I add all of my white gel highlights in there. And I decided to color in the Pajama Power with that same green that matches. And here I'm just showing you how to make this thing work again. This card was so much fun to make, and I know you're going to love it. It is good for any occasion. It's just however you decorate it. I did decide to pop up another sentiment from the stamp set, which reads, "You're fabulous. Don't ever change out of your pajamas." So thanks so much for hanging out with me. Be sure to like, subscribe, and check us out next time.